Hola chicos, soy señorita Schaefer y hoy vamos a hablar de gramática de capítulo 1b, specifically de word order and the placement of adjectives. This is on page 62 of your textbooks in case you want to go there to see this in your book or to get some extra practice. The big question that I want you to ask as you go through this lesson is where are adjectives placed in a Spanish sentence? Now you'll remember a couple of grammar lessons ago we talked about adjectives. We talked about how they need to be masculine or feminine. We talked about how the examples for that are ones that end in E can be both. That words that end in dor are feminine, dora, like trabajador and trabajadora. And that some words, like deportista, are just masculine and feminine, ending in that A. But what we don't know yet is how to use these adjectives in a sentence. So today we're going to focus on how to use them in a sentence and where they would be placed. Please go ahead and write this question down at the top of your notes, and we're going to work to answer it throughout this lesson. In Spanish, adjectives usually come after the noun that they describe. Notice how artística follows chica in the Spanish sentence. So we're saying Margarita is an artistic girl. We're describing girl. In English, artistic would come first. In Spanish, we're going to say Margarita is una chica artística. In Spanish, they really like to let you know what's coming. This is like when we did the negatives, where you put the no in front of things. They want you to know right away that it's going to be a negative sentence. It's kind of the same thing with this. The most important thing isn't that you know artistic. The most important thing is that you know girl, right? So they're telling you girl first and then describing what kind of girl. You can go ahead and write down in your notes. You should have had that question written down. Where are adjectives placed in a Spanish sentence? And you can go ahead and write down after the noun they describe. Here's a simple pattern that you can use when writing a sentence in Spanish, and we're going to copy this in just a second. But the first thing I wanted you to write down in your notes is that adjectives come after the noun that they describe. And this is the second thing that I want you to write down. This equation right here. Subject plus verb plus indefinite article and noun plus adjective. So we'll see some examples here. Margarita es una chica muy artística. Margarita is a girl, a very artistic girl. Pablo es un estudiante inteligente. Pablo is an intelligent student. La señora Ortiz es una profesora muy buena. Señora Ortiz is a very good professor. If you need to pause this to write those two things down on your notes, feel free, but we're going to make some sentences of our own on the next slide. So up here I have the equation for you again. Subject plus verb plus indefinite article and noun plus adjective. So I'm going to go ahead and make some of these. Jose. Jose is our subject. So we'll say Jose is, we need es. Oh no. Es. And then we'll need an indefinite article and a noun. So let's go with un estudiante. And then we'll need our adjective. Remember, because Jose is a boy, our adjective will need to end in an O. So we'll say Jose es un estudiante talentoso. Talentoso is describing un estudiante. So it's going to come right after that noun. Let's do another sentence. María es una chica muy ordenada. Because Maria is a girl, you'll notice that our adjective ends in an A. Maria is a girl, very organized, a very organized girl. Very organized is describing girl, so it comes right after it. Let's do one last one. Señorita Schaefer, then we'll need our verb, so we'll use is again. Es, we have our subject and our verb. And then we need our indefinite article and our noun. So we'll say una profesora. Remember, una is the article and profesora is the noun. And because Señorita Schaefer and profesora are both feminine, you know that we'll need a feminine adjective here. However, we're just going to use one that ends in an E. Remember, that can be feminine or masculine, so we don't need to change it. Señorita Schaefer es una profesora inteligente. Intelligent is describing professor, so it comes right after that noun. Remember, one thing I want to talk about really fast is the subject. The subject is the person or the thing that does the verb, that does or is the verb. So who is Jose is, who is Maria is, who is Señorita Schaefer is. Please go ahead and write one example sentence of your own before you move on to this screen. Go ahead and follow this exact same equation. So put down a subject. Now you'll write es. So you'll say blank is. And then you'll need to choose a noun with its indefinite article. And then an adjective to describe it. Pause a second to make sure that your adjective is appropriately masculine or feminine, unless it ends in an E, or if it's deportista. So to answer our original question, where are adjectives placed in a Spanish sentence, I want you to write down those two things. If you already wrote them and you feel good, you can be done. But this is a good last review. They come after the noun they describe. And secondly, I want you to just go ahead and write down that equation again. Subject plus verb plus article and noun, remember that's your indefinite article, plus adjective. Lastly, put a star there and say make sure that you know whether it's masculine or feminine, and that will depend on the noun. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know either through an email or in class. But I hope that this gave you a more thorough understanding of where adjectives are placed in a Spanish sentence.